What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? Tuesday morning here in Sydney, Monday night in America, wherever you are. Welcome. I got a busy day, so this is live stream 1 of 2. Kind of fighting an allergy attack right now. Every morning I wake up. It's Sydney, Australia. Is if you have allergies, there's a lot of pollen, and I live pretty much in a tree house. Beautiful part of the city, but there's a lot of trees, nature, national park. So every morning for about an hour, I struggle with itchy eyes and all that good stuff. So it is 5:45 a.m. I've had to start a little bit earlier today because I have a few clients right after this, and then I want to go live again. I have to do the Tszyu video upload. I want to do Princess Alasquaga. There's so many fights, man. There's fights in the UK. There's fights in Sydney, which I'll be going to. There's fights in Japan just tomorrow. So there's a lot of boxing, and then there's fights this weekend. And we're gonna get into all that. We could talk about that. We're gonna talk about that Australian card first. I want to, before we continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers, guys. If you haven't joined the Discord, the link is pinned here. It's a couple bucks a month. It gets you full access on YouTube. It gets you access to our Pro Bettors Discord. I want to give a shout out. We got some new members. To Magic Kush became a new YouTube member. The Money Hoist, appreciate you. Dwayne Styles, I appreciate you, guys. We also, I know there's some of you guys who, for whatever reason, can't join our Discord because at the moment the only way to join is through YouTube. Well, there's another way. I just launched the brand new Patreon, and that was a request from you guys. So I'm still figuring Patreon out, but if you can't access YouTube, Google, you could join the Discord through the Patreon. I know I had a list of about 10 of you guys over the last 3 months who were asking me other ways to join. And for the moment, we only had one. Now we have two. And what we're going to do is I'm going to learn more and more about Patreon. I'm going to offer more and more members only content on Patreon. But that link is also on my channel. So if you just go to YouTube, you'll see it. I posted it. If you need the Patreon link, I'll post it here. Do you think Giorgio Vasoli is real deal? He looks, you never want to rush to judgment with a guy so young, unproven. He's ticking the boxes though. You know what I mean? The one thing we have to remember is these promotional companies, these marketing, they have a reputation to withstand and withhold as well. So that's always kind of on the boxes to tick, is when you see a kid who is getting promoted by a big promotional company. There has to be something to it. Yeah, there are hype machines. Sometimes people get it wrong. Vasoli looks the real deal. He plays the part. He speaks well. He says all the right things. He ticks all the boxes. We'll see. Only time will tell. Boxing is a really tough sport. Vasoli, my favorite prospect from UK. He is good. He is good. I like how he operates too. You know what I'm saying? There's certain ways, certain fighters, how some fighters operate. He operates in a very fan-friendly way. So I agree with you. He's one of my favorites as well. We're gonna go. We're gonna add a screen real quick. Let's look at these odds. Let's look at the odds. We're gonna go over all the fights to talk about. Stay tuned to the channel, guys. Hit notifications. The notifications will inform you when I do upload a new Stats Don't Lie video, because you guys are gonna be getting a bunch of them in the next 48 hours. We're gonna take a look at the odds real quick. Just go over all these odds real quick. I'm gonna give my first long parlay tonight. So I usually don't give away my parlays until later in the week, but guys, we have so much action. It's about the juice. We have so much action. It's about the juice. I just got done watching the movie Heat again. Michael Mann's Heat, one of the best. Dude, if you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. Everybody's in it. All right, so I've been getting Instagram. Every time there's fights in Australia, all the boys come out the woodwork. One of my guys, he's an amateur boxer in Australia, so he spars with a lot of these guys. He's getting ready he's trying to, the Commonwealth Games. Some of my other guys, they work for Fight Hub, or they work for Fight Hype, part of these like roving reporters who go to all these fights internationally. And then Australia has their own team of Fight Hype reporters. You never get to see them, but that's like the cell phone footage when they're in the locker rooms. Those guys send me a bunch of stuff. So I've been getting a lot of information coming out of a lot of different areas for this Sydney card, right? And there's people who think Akuso is on upset alert. I talked about that yesterday on my first live stream. Ahmad Rita looked good in his last performance. We were at that fight. We're watching his media. I'm going to play you some of the media tape. He looks a bit nervous. He is young, though. This should be a good win. This should be a feeder fight. He should be featured and showcased here. They feel they have a potential star with Ahmad Rita. He does looks a bit, he's still young. He looks a bit nervous to me. We'll play all that. The Japanese, Alasquaga's on that Japanese card. Princess is fighting Kuwahara. That's a fun fight. Now, this is a 50-50 fight where I'm being told that Dominic Molinaro is live. Dominic Molinaro is fighting Khan Mazoudier. And Mazoudier is never in a boring fight. He's always going to be in one of these firefights. He's a domestic level Aussie. He has a small little following. He's faced some tough guys, but he's Australian level, which is great, which is fine. Dominic Molinaro might not be a household name, but his name has been sent to me. This fight's been sent to me over the last 24 hours. I went to bed last night at about 9 p.m. I woke up at 5 a.m. It's not even 6 a.m. So in that time period, I've gotten this fight sent to me 3 or 4 times. So it wasn't one I was going to tape. And off the top, I thought Cohen would be the guy, but people were like, hey, man, you need to check out Dominic Molinaro. So I'm going to do my due diligence. Any of the Aussies who are catching this, any of the Aussies who are catching this, who has any input on any of this, hit me up. Let me know. Hit me up just to chat. Truly yours, your biggest fan. This is Stan. Yo, I just think it's fucked up. You don't answer fans. Remember I saw you? My tears gone cold. I'm wondering why. Got out of bed at all. And then our boy, shout out to Coach Bermudez. Coach Bermudez is going viral in Australia with some of his. They're taking a lot of Coach Bermudez is a friend of the show. Coach Bermudez is a supporter of the show. He's in our Discord. You guys will know who he is. He's going viral in Australia, boy, on all the social media networks for him and his camp. What they've been saying about Tszyu's camp. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'll play some of that as well. Is Velazquez live here, boys? Before I get to your questions, I'm gonna. I see you, boys. I see Depth in the house, Manny. Does anybody think Velazquez is live? Here's another one. I just don't see it. People think Donaire. I know people who are taking Donaire against Tszyu. I also know people who are going super heavy on Tszyu. I mean, whatever odds you like, you're gonna get plus money. If you stay, I mean, if you focus on the method of victory, that's why this is a fun fight. This fight, if you play your cards right, should get your week started off on the right track regarding risk versus reward. Look at both sides of the game, method of victory. Even though Tsutsumi is a $1.28 money line, you play your cards right on points or a stoppage, you're at 212 and 290. But I know guys thinking Donaire at 43 years old. I don't know, man. I just think that Donaire's output isn't going to be enough. I think that he's worn down so much. I don't put a lot of emphasis in that Andres Campos victory, the one he's coming off of. He fought a very sort of mediocre, mid-level Argentinian opponent. I think Tsutsumi could crack. Tsutsumi could punch. He's going to have more output. Obviously, the younger dude. Obviously, the favorite. It's in Japan. The only thing is, if you're a Tsutsumi guy, is you got to worry about that, archetypal Japanese style of not moving their head. And he doesn't have a lot of head movement. Keeps his head on the midline, but he throws. I think sometimes if you're going to punch a lot, it's not like he's going to punch and stare at his work sort of thing, but he will be there to get hit. And we know what Donaire possesses, one of the best left hooks of his generation. He could crack with both hands. I don't think that's going to be enough for me to take Donaire. My biggest question is going to be, will it be Tsutsumi on points or by stoppage? And I definitely like Tsutsumi in this fight. So it's just another one. Depending on what side of the fence you're going to lean on, there will be issues to think about, whatever side, but there will be money to be made. And whoever chooses right, going into the weekend, you'll be up. So this is a fun fight. This is of the Wednesday night fights. This is the one that um, I'm excited for. Even though I'm going to the Australian fights, this one has a little bit something behind it because of the name recognition on both sides. And this isn't Reino Satsumi. This is Saya Satsumi. Punch Burger. If you follow him on Instagram, this is Punch Burger. One of my favorite Instagram tags. Dude's name's Punch Burger. And I'm almost caught up, boys. I'm almost caught up. Guys, there's 30 boys in here. It's not even 6 a.m. Y'all cast is crazy. I appreciate you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, get into the Discord. It's a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned here. We have a new Patreon. If you guys have any advice for me regarding the Patreon, let me know. I only started the Patreon because you guys asked me to. Some of you guys needed a secondary way of how to get into the Discord. So now we have two options. You could join the Discord not just on YouTube. You could also join with the Patreon, and I'll be adding Patreon-only content in there because I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm a coach. I interview people. This isn't the only thing I do. So I have so much content you guys have never seen. I have interviews with Larry Holmes, George Foreman. I have interviews with Evander Holyfield. I have interviews with Kelly Pavlik, Tszyu, Jeff Fennick that aren't out there. So, dating back to like 2015. So it's given me the idea to maybe start releasing some of these like boxing legendary interviews that I had collected over the years for writing books to actually release in the Patreon. So I might do that. I might make videos of them. The list of I'll pull out this real quick and then we'll get back on track because I'm kind of juggling. I love the creative flow. I love starting things from scratch. So I'm kind of talking through this with you guys. I really don't know. Like, all right, here's some interviews that I've never released. Chris Algieri, Matt Brown, who fought in the UFC, Billy Dibb, David Reynolds, who's a Australian race car driver, Anthony Mundine, Jake Shields, Larry Holmes, Carlos Condit, Preston Campbell, who was a rugby guy, Jonathan Thurston, who was a rugby guy in Australia, Hoist Gracie, Stipe Miocic, Tszyu, Rich Franklin, Dan Severn, Bruce Buffer, Mario Andretti, who's a race car driver, Luke Longley, basketball player, politician Bob Carr, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, Boss Rutan, Chris Weidman, Robert Greene, the author, Diamond Dallas Page, the wrestler. These are, if you're just tuning in, these are all interviews I haven't released that I've collected over the years for, because I'm an author, I write books, I interview people that I'm thinking maybe I could release these into our Patreon. Tim Kennedy, Ken Shamrock, Frank Zane, Lane Norton, Wonderboy Thompson, Laird Hamilton, Brian Habana, who's a South African rugby player, Frank Shamrock, Dave Palumbo, Elliot Hulse, George Foreman. There's a bunch. Yeah, so there's a bunch. We'll see if just if you guys are listening to that, let me know if you guys have any ideas on what to do with those. I'm open. We'll get back to the odds, boys. You know what? We're 15 minutes in. I'll start talking to the homies. You guys are my boys. What's up? Rita is fighting a different opponent now. Okay. Good looking out, Manny. Depth, what's up, player? Do you think Cardenas versus Robo? Ooh, good fight. I got Cardenas. Look, Ramon Cardenas made me money by knocking down Inoue. We didn't have the Discord up and running, but on my live stream, I said I was taking him at 15-1 to drop Inoue. So I won money on that. Ramon Cardenas also sent me a private message on Instagram asking me to take down a video on YouTube, by the way. And he was really polite about it. It was a it was a video about him leading up into the Inoue fight, and I took it down. So because the way he handled that and how he approached me, I like Ramon Cardenas. I cheer for him. So I'll be going for him in that fight. It's a good fight, though. I might be playing if I could get a knockdown prop, I'll probably play a knockdown prop. Craig Richards, Tszyu, Velazquez. So Craig Richards money line. What's up, Julius? Craig Richards money line. Tszyu versus Velazquez, no distance. Donaire, Sutsumi, no distance, and to come. I like it. I'm sure you'll be putting that in the Discord. Kiza, I don't want to see my boy take another loss. He better win. Yeah. Boss Marv, this is one of these fights that I was getting messaged about, man. There's people who think that Abdulayev is live here. I brought this up on the live stream yesterday. People were saying that I was crazy. I got messaged on my Instagram. Multiple people saying, Johnny, you need to look into Abdulayev. He's live. You can't really find a lot of tape on him. Doesn't have a lot of pro fights, but his amateur days, people, I guess he fought Amon Khatiev in the amateurs. I guess he spars with like some really, really tough guys. And people think that that he's live here. I don't know. I was watching Velazquez last night. He looked bad. Yeah. Look, Velazquez isn't on Tim's level. Velazquez, and Coach Bermudez. This is Coach Bermudez. You're my boy. I'm probably going to see you on Wednesday. But you can't find. There's not a. What I'm noticing in Team Velazquez is they're relying on the psychological angle. They're trying to get under Tim's skin. They're trying. They were clowning Tim Tszyu's Chef Omar, for being obese or overweight. He's not obese. He's he's just a big boy. So they're and these clips are going viral, at least down here in Sydney. So I see the approach. They think that Tim Tszyu, his psyche is rattled, is fractured, which rightfully so. Tim Tszyu's changed camps. He's changed nicknames. Two of probably the worst nicknames in boxing history: the Soul Taker and the Phoenix. Come on, Tim. Look, that's just me though. I guess I'm not a nickname guy. I'm not a comic book guy. I don't play video games. I've never watched anime. No shade. Like, it just wasn't my thing, right? My best friend loves anime, and he would try to get me into it. I was like, man, I gotta go play baseball. I ain't got time for all that. I gotta work on my, I just never had time to get in. I was a sports card collector, so I collect football, baseball, basketball cards. Anime just wasn't my thing. But when I hear nicknames like the Soul Taker and Phoenix, I'm like, those are too bad. I don't know, man. But my point is, Coach Bermudez and Team Velazquez are trying to get under Tim's skin for stuff like that, and they're thinking that Tszyu broke before. They think he's a broken guy. They don't like the move with Pedro Diaz. They were trying to clown Coach Diaz, and Tim Tszyu was defending him. So that's their approach. The tape, at the end of the day, they're going to have to fight. Tim should handle Velazquez easily. He should. I don't think Tim. I'd like to think that Tim, 31 years old now, he should still have a good run. I think he has another run left. I do. Guys, Wednesday's insane. We have Japan, the UK, Australia just on Wednesday. Yeah, I like Sutsumi here. I like Sutsumi over Donaire. Tszyu versus Velazquez not going the distance. I think it's going to look similar to when Joey came down here. So Hedges decision. My parlay for Wednesday is Hedges, Zaro to go distance, Tim Tszyu, Vasolia, Kuso, Takami, Goodman, Callum, Peters. It's a long parlay, brother. I ain't mad at you, though. That's a Johnny Stoff style. That's how we do it. I like it. Let's go. How do you feel about the Geo fight? Let's pull up the odds. Guys, are we liking these odds, though? Joe Howarth. I mean, isn't Howarth is old mate's boy? The big dog. The British. Isn't that his boy? Yeah, he's Dave Allen. That's Dave Allen's boy. It should be a good fight. I don't know if I'm going to bet that fight. Those odds are insane to me. Once again, you're going to have to find your money on the method of victory. I mean, Vasoli is the marketing sort of sweetheart right now. He's the guy with all the hype. Points or stoppage, 50-50, you're going to flip a coin. Do you think Vasoli stops Howarth? Howarth is tough. It's a good test for him. Jinru. I won't be able to watch Wednesday fights, but trying to see if I get parlay. Yeah, I'm gonna share my parlay today. So if you're not gonna be able to watch them, maybe you could tail, pick and choose what you like. Abdulayev is live, but I'm taking Akuso. Reminds me of Zayas, Chino Garcia. Akuso reminds you of Zayas. Akuso is a Xander and Chino. Those guys are 154. Paulo Akuso is a massive dude, big boy. Akuso would be more like reminding you of like Jaya Pataya or Justice Huni. That's sort of the cloth he's cut from. Tszyu might go crazy on the domestic level like the Aussie that dropped Vaquero. Come on, Liam Wilson. Dude, Liam's the world level. Liam should be a world champion. Liam Wilson, he's a world rank guy, not a domestic guy. You know, he's not perfect. He got talked about a robbery. Kid's career was not, and then he tried to fight out. Dude, the thing about the Aussies down here is like, just I don't want to question every. I'm not going to categorize every fighter from a specific country having the same issues. But when you look at Liam Wilson's shortcomings, his fight IQ, his willingness to engage in a firefight, the Oscar Valdez fight, the fight against Vaquero, even though he dropped him, the fight should have went his way. That's a hill I'll die on. That's a 27 count. From the time Navarrete got dropped until it continued, it was 27 seconds. Liam Wilson should have had his arm raised there. Things didn't go his way, and his career has been up and down since. Coming off a couple victories, and he's looking, I'm pretty sure he's put himself in another position to either be fighting for a title eliminator or another world title fight. We'll see. I'm glad I'm not the only one. The Phoenix. No comment. No comment. Dave, yeah. Good looking out, Kiza. Nonito Donaires fight scares me a little, even at 50 years old. He got that left hook. You don't lie. True. I said that though. It's not so at least you know I'm going with Tszyu, but I always do both sides of the coin. If you're going with Nonito, you got to worry about his output, his age. If you're going with Tszyu, you got to worry about Tsusumi's style and Nonito's left hook, right? But I just think in a fight like that, Nonito versus Tszyu, you put the pros and cons in a basket and you're picking out. It's like when you were a kid and you go trick-or-treating with Halloween candy and you get home and you empty out. We used to trick-or-treat. I remember trick-or-treating with a plastic pumpkin, and then I got to an age where I just used a pillowcase. So you empty the pillowcase out, and you're just taking the candies you want. You're putting the good candy in a separate pile, and then the candies you really don't want, you put in another pile. You either give those to your little sister, give them to your parents, or you don't really mess with them. That's kind of like what I do when I'm picking and choosing a fighter after I've broken down the tape. I know both guys' careers. I know what's at stake. I know the pros and cons. You know the path to victory or both. You just got to look at it for what it is. I'm going to put my money on this guy because of this. I'm going to put my money on this guy because of this. But there will be risks and rewards. There will be pros and cons. And those are the two of the biggest ones for me that jump off the page with Donaire versus Tszyu. Trains with Joe Hayden. Vasoli points. I think the odds are wide. Howarth isn't that bad. 11-1 is insane. Guys, Joe Howarth is a bigger underdog than Jake Paul is against Anthony Joshua. That's pretty crazy to me. Young Money, what card though, big dog? We got Australia, we got the UK, we got Japan. There's a card, dude. We got Africa this week. Aziz is fighting. The boxing's insane. And it doesn't stop. It's not like, oh, it just stops after wins. No, hell no, it keeps going. I love it, dude. Talk about the greatest sport in the world. We don't got a season, baby. We got all year. We got, and you got to ask yourself, if you guys should be up, by the way. We all hit last weekend. You got to ask yourself, sometimes it's not good to bet on every single card. So if you're in the Discord, you'll see how I always post the upcoming schedule. You should see all the fights. There's so many fights. You guys should be able to pick 5. Maybe I'm gonna introduce a new Johnny Says Parlay. We're gonna call it Pick 5 or maybe Pick 4, and it'll be like my 4 favorite fights of the upcoming week. Because when there's 50 fights, things could get overwhelming. But you should be able to pick at least four from, like, pick one from the UK, pick one from Australia, pick one from Japan, pick one from this weekend. There's four there, dude. And, I like these four fights a lot. I'm going heavy. And, nothing. And then you could watch each card and, with a little bit of resistance. You don't need, the worst thing is when you bet heavy, when you bet every fight on a specific card and it's, let's say there's 5 fights and the first 2 come through, or even the first 4 come through, and you're all hype, everyone's happy, and then you lose one fight on that card, and then the whole card sucked in your opinion because you lost. So a way to maneuver and navigate that from happening is just pick one fight on one card, especially when there's all these fights going down. I agree with King Ty. Gio's gonna get it done. It'll be a good test. I think that about Vaquero's, dude. It's not that like Vaquero's. This is just how Navarrete fights, Eddie. Every Navarrete fight, you just got to expect some chaos. Just watch his career. You named the 2 ones that jump off the page, but it wasn't just the Liam fight or the Suarez fight. It's literally how he fights. Headbutt fights get stopped early for headbutts, cuts, unorthodox punches, people stepping on each other's feet, people falling on the ground, almost going through the ropes. You know, so much chaos. Rabbit punches, dick shots. Like this is they call his nickname's a cowboy for a reason. This motherfucker's a cowboy. He's fighting Sugar next. Bro. Who you going for in that fight? Navarrete or Sugar? Let's go. I was using old girls. You know what time it is. DJ. Let's go, big dog. Julius. Giorgio up the volume. He can stop club level Howard. I think so. I think so. So, Julius, this is interesting, boys. Usually when you see a guy like Vasoli, who on the money line is such a big favorite at $1.06, the method of victory isn't going to be as juicy as this. For instance, we had this past weekend Tito Mercado on the money line, I think was $1.15, and Mercado to win by stoppage was only $1.40. Granted, he 16 out of his 17 wins were by knockout. That's what Tito does. But like with Vasoli here, he's $1.06. But it's kind of like the odds makers are like, pick one, homie. Do it. Pick one. The odds are saucy on both sides. Which one you gonna go with? Because it doesn't really tell the story. You're not really getting a lean when it's a 50-50 pick 'em on the method of victory, but at plus 102. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty interesting to me. You betting on the Jake Paul fight? You betting on the Jake Paul fight? Are we betting on exhibitions now, boys? Dan Aziz hasn't looked good in years. Are you get? I'm not even seeing if I'm getting any action on that yet. Carolyn Dubois fighting. Avius Griffin versus Cardona. Yacaste Valley versus Bustillos. Sugar Neeks versus Galle. Ramon Cardenas versus Robles. Anderson Silva versus Woodley. Yuck. Bumgarner versus Badouan. Okay, here we go. Dan Aziz versus Craig Richards. That should be easy money for Craig Richards, mate. The risk-taking side of me wants to touch the fight to last under 2. That's actually what I was looking at, the under 2.5. But, I mean, rounds fly by. Ugh, the fuckery of a Jake Paul exhibition. Look, if you're going to bet on that fight, you're going to hear 2 sides. People are going to tell you this is free money, or people are going to tell you, probably my perspective is, if you're going to bet on it, don't put it on a parlay. Or don't tell people about it. If I bet on it, I ain't telling people about it. So, guys, we're 30 minutes in. I'm going to be going live again today. It's 6:15 a.m. I'll stay on a little bit longer. Any specific fights we want to feature, I could bring up some Instagram footage. We can bring up some media. You know what? I'm going to bring up what's going on in Australia real quick. I'm going to bring up Tszyu versus. I want you to see what I'm talking about. So what you're about to see is
probably a really, really good amateur coach.
You don't rate him as a.
this is Coach Bermudez.
No, he always gets
He's in our
hired.
Discord.
He has a lot of knowledge about boxing. Always get hired and then get fired. Tim, from the very beginning, had a pro style, right? So you go to a Cuban coach to learn an amateur system. Listen, I don't know who he had before, but they was doing a great job. The only thing that needed switching was that cut man. So switching coaches could be it could be a good tactic to avoid accountability, right? So I don't know what's going on there. He quit once, you know what I mean? He's gonna probably quit again, and so we don't pay too much attention to that. But we know that he's in shape. He could punch with both hands. Once Tim feels something, it's gonna remind him of him quitting or him getting knocked out. Probably a really, really good amateur coach.
So what do you guys think of that? That's Coach Bermudez. You would recognize him from my stream. Coach Bermudez is Velazquez's coach. He doesn't like the switch. He doesn't like the Tim Tszyu coaching change. He questions Tim Tszyu's heart, his mindset. This is Tim Tszyu.
You've been lucky, man. I'm lucky, all right. Find out soon, huh?
So that's Tim Tszyu's chef.
How's your weight?
That's Anthony Velazquez.
No, I'm on the way, man. Yeah. No, I'm not the one gonna be with team. He's the one gonna be with team. I'm no one. Yeah, I'm no one. You look like a loser to me. Yeah, you look like a loser to me. You look like a loser to me. You want to try her? For yourself? Yeah. Yeah. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Nothing. You've been lucky, man.
All right, guys. What do you make of the chef on any what do you make of a fighter's chef talking shit to your opponent? It was kind of in, he said he looked like shit. This was Chef Omar, Tim Tszyu's nutritionist, trashing Anthony Velazquez at media day. If I'm the fighter, I'm telling my team to shut up. You know what I mean? I'm telling my chef to shut up, stop speaking to people. I was kind of shocked to see that.
You look like a loser to me. You want to try and jump in for yourself? Yeah. Yeah. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
God bless, brother.
God bless. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. You look like a loser to me. You want to try and jump in for yourself? You got nothing, bro.
You want to be here. You want to nothing, bro. So that was here.
Will you have some words to him after the fight?
Who?
the trainer who's just said all this
I
stuff?
want to grab his little boy by the neck and just go, he's got no idea. There's levels, of course, I understand. But I'm gonna take this boy out. Pray. Intelligently, smartly.
Will you have some words to him after the fight?
Who?
So yeah, there you go. So that's kind of like the media down here is trying to create a narrative, but Coach Bermudez and then Chef Omar. Chef Omar is Tim Tszyu's nutritionist. Coach Bermudez is Anthony Velazquez's coach. He's also the coach of a lot of high level fighters. He's in our Discord. Shout out to Coach Bermudez. So I'm kind of tough with this one. I want to see Coach Bermudez come out on top. It'd be cool to see Anthony Velazquez get it done. I've taped Velazquez. I'm interested if you guys taped him. Look, Tim should be able to handle him. Tim, if you had to put there's levels, Tim should be able to handle him. There isn't anything that Anthony Velazquez could do skill-wise that I see that he's going to do better than Tim. And it's why I feel that Team Velazquez is leaning on the fractured mindset, the psychology, the changing of the camp. They feel that they're dealing with a broken fighter. If that's the case, Velazquez has a shot here. But from a skill perspective, everything physical that happens in the ring, I don't see Velazquez being able to handle Tszyu that long. I would pick the under here. I think Tim should stop Velazquez. What's up, Shy Bears? Dude, your Bears have beat the piss out of the Browns yesterday. Shout out to you, big dog. It's not pronounced Tim Tszyu. It's pronounced Tim Tszyu. Tszyu. Who said Tim Tissue? Who the hell? Did somebody say Tim Tissue? That just sounds funny reading it. If Joey Spencer couldn't get it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll be there. It'll be fun to see. Michael Brown. Johnny Zubin getting his ass kicked, though, bro. I like him. Get back. I mean, but who'd he lose to? Mike, he lost to Seb twice and Bakur Murtazayev. You know what I'm saying? And look, I got to be honest with you. I'm not one of these guys standing on business saying that, like, Tim Tszyu's the greatest 154-pounder. I was never saying that, is my point. Like, when he was making his hit list T-shirts, this was before the first Seb fight, if you guys remember. He wanted the Charlo fight, the Thurman fight. He made this T-shirt with Crawford on it. Errol Spence Jr. was on the T-shirt. This was around July 2023 when Bud fought EJ. So a lot has shifted in 2 years. I was not one of these guys saying, yeah, Timmy, fight Errol. Or, yeah, Timmy, fight Bud. I was like, even Charlo. I was like, Charlo, you're going to have your hands full with Charlo. Big Charlo or little Charlo. So, but, I've watched him, I've seen him when he flipped over in 2016, when he turned pro. Like I told you, I've interviewed his father multiple times. Costa's a living legend. So living in Sydney, Rockdale Boxing's not far from me. It's kind of like, you have that hometown effect. He should get it done against Velazquez. Let's not get it twisted. But I think there is a gap. I mean, it's evident there is a gap. And however much credence you want to put into what aura means, A-U-R-A, in terms of the aura a fighter brings into the ring, the aura a fighter is able to keep his entire career, or the aura that the fighter loses through a devastating loss, through a knockout loss. That's a real thing. And I don't see many people talking about that. Tim Tszyu definitely lost that. He doesn't have that. So I don't know how you would weigh that in. I don't know any science behind using that as a measurement, but Tszyu him calling himself a phoenix. We know the story of the phoenix rising from the dead, from the ashes, but it's pretty corny. Like, I don't like that. But that's just me. That's just marketing. I don't have to like a guy's marketing for me to. I'm not judging his marketing on his output or his style, but his 3 losses, 2 to Seb, 1 to Murtazaev. They're both world champions. Not, they didn't look good on paper. He was actually the favorite against Murtazaev, and he was the favorite against Seb, at least in one of those 2 fights, which is crazy. So don't forget about that. He's going to have to go out there and stop Velazquez. I think that the pressure is going to be too much. I like Tszyu in the under here, under probably 7.5. I probably think Tim should get him out of there under 6.5. We'll see what's up. Yeah, I go to the Sydney fights. If the fights are in Sydney, I'm going. I've gone to the last 6 cards. Everything from the Paul Gallen, Sonny Bill fight to the Sam Goodman, Cesar Vaca fight to I was at Tszyu, Tony Harrison. So yeah, I go to all the Sydney fights. Okay, I'm glad you asked about this because this is a fight that I've been getting messaged about. I brought it up earlier in the stream. Guys, if you're tapping in, we're 40 minutes in. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. We have a professional bettors Discord. We launched it a couple months ago. We're approaching 330. Johnny says VIPs. It's only a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned. In that Discord, you get boxing, MMA, NFL, NHL, NBA, and we're all eating. So in that Discord, I put up all the transparent posts, people, insider information. One of these messages I shared yesterday in our Discord was about the Cohen Mazzudier fight, and people were thinking that Molinaro is a live dog. So I have to do my due diligence and watch more tape on Molinaro. But I've had 3 people, message me individually, separately, who say that Molinaro is live. It's on paper almost a 50-50. I think Molinaro is at $2.30 and Cohen's $1.90. So it's almost split down the middle. But right now, if you put your money on Molinaro, you'll get him at plus odds. So I'm putting all my bets out tonight. So stay tuned. I'll put it in the Discord. It's only 6:30 a.m. here in Sydney. I'm going to be going live again today. You're also going to get my StatStone live video of Tszyu versus Velazquez, and I'm going to do another StatStone live video of Nonito Donaire and Tsutsumi. Guys, we have the fight card in Australia, the fight card in Japan, the fight card in the UK, all tomorrow on Wednesday. And so then we have fights this weekend as well. We got the sideshow that is Jake Paul as well. There are I think there's a couple legit fights. We have the Pro Box card. I love these Pro Box cards, guys. Don't get it twisted. If you're a true blue boxing head, those Pro Box cards are exciting. You got Ramon Cardenas on that Pro Box card in a very tough fight. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be covering those fights as well. So many fights happened these past 2 weeks. Didn't know Venado Lopez and De Los. Yeah, right? Venado Lopez fought in Mexico. De Los Santos, I put those up on my Instagram. Look like he can give problems. Dude, Edwin De Los Santos, whenever you got power like De Los Santos and you got that style that stresses people out, there aren't many people putting their. It's just Edwin's one of those guys. There aren't many people putting their hand up, going like, "I'll fight him," especially with a ranking, especially with a belt on the line. That's where the sport has kind of changed from over the last 20 years or so. Is that the hands would go up no matter who. The hands would go up just for the opportunity. Now people maneuver and pivot in specific ways, and the maneuvering and pivoting has always been in boxing. But I feel it's like a little bit more drastic now at this stage of the game. You see a guy like Edwin De Los Santos, fan-friendly style, loves to be in a firefight. The fighters themselves, the promotional teams who have fighters in the top 15 or maybe have belts, they're not going to... I mean, he poses a lot of issues for a lot of guys. Hopefully, as fans, we get to see him in big fights, but we'll see. He has massive hands, too. I remember they... like 2 years ago after Bud fought Errol, they were down in the Caribbean for, I think it might be the WBC who does the Caribbean yearly awards down there. And I shared a photo with Crawford and Edwin De Los Santos. And they're going like this, and De Los Santos' hands are like that, dude. Bricks. You wonder why he could, it's no wonder he could crack. Actually, let's go to here real quick. Before I get you guys out of here, I'm going to just give you a recap of all these cards that are popping. I put this poll up on my personal page. You guys can't see because this is on my podcast page, you can't see the stats, but I'm going to show you on my phone. 50, dude, the odds are crazy. When I put this poll up on my Instagram, 1,200 people voted. Who wins? Tszyu or Velazquez? If you could see this, it's only 55-45. 55% says Tszyu will win. I was expecting it to be like 90-10. 55-45 with 1,000 people. And it's not like I have an echo chamber for Anthony Velazquez or I'm like a Tszyu hater. So it's not like the people who follow me are following me because we all have the same thoughts. That's definitely not the case. 55-45 kind of shocked me. Okay, so this is the Edwin De Los Santos knockout. This happened this weekend.
Mirando muy bien sus golpes. Cuidado, ¡ey! Póngale usted su nombre.
Wow.
No creo.
¿Qué knockout?
I didn't know he fought either. So this card goes, this is the Africa card, Richard versus Ease. This is the Australian card, Wednesday night. This is the London card, Wednesday. This is Japan, Wednesday. It's crazy. I'm like a kid in a candy store, guys. Look, we have so much action. And it's Tsumi Donaire. This is the fight. I can't wait for this fight. I think De Los Santos best rematch Rayo. I'd like to see it. Velazquez from my hometown, Springfield, Mass., the birthplace of basketball. Velazquez, tough as nails, very skilled, great trainer. Yeah, Hector Bermudez is we're friends. I'm friends with him. Hector Bermudez is on our channel. He's in our Discord. Coach Bermudez is in our Discord. Are you picking Rene Santiago? Let's check those odds. Da 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 da. Takami versus, I don't know, man. Takami could crack. You're picking Takami to lose to Santiago. It's a good fight. Look, this one's flying under the radar, mate. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm going to have to write this one down. Takami versus, this one just flew under my radar. Thanks for, who said that? Eddie. Thanks, Eddie. Takami. I have to look into this one. There's so many fights, Santiago. Question mark. I'm putting a question mark by this fight. I appreciate you. Carolyn Dubois fighting Friday on Jake Paul. I'm taking her by knockout. She is fighting. It's her first fight. I think she just signed with them, so she's going to want to put on a show. Are there odds on Tszyu? Yeah. Yeah. Here are the odds real quick. So Anthony Velazquez is a bigger underdog than Jake Paul is against Anthony Joshua. That's why like I don't, if you're betting on that bullshit circus show of Jake Paul's exhibition fight, I'm not even calling it, it's not even a boxing match. Jake Paul fights exhibitions. If you're betting on that, don't bet the house. There's Jake Paul's a smaller dog than Velazquez is against Tszyu. What are we talking about? Jake Paul should be a 40-1. Buster Douglas was a 44-1 underdog against Mike Tyson. And you're telling me Jake Paul's a 7-1 underdog against AJ? Get the fuck out of here. What are we talking about? And Velazquez is a 9-1 dog against Tszyu? Crazy. Isn't that insane? Let's get this money, Mike. I'm down. Michael Brown in the house. Let's do it. You're right. There's a lot, dude. There's a lot of money to be made, boys. And this is one of those weeks. It seems like, guys, this is all of our fight weeks lately. Is the fact that because there are so many fights, I'm going to reiterate this point. You don't have to bet on every fight. I would say find, if you're old school like me, get your screen out like I'm doing. Use your book, and then with a pad and paper, write down 4 or 5 fights that you really like. And then write down some reasons why. And if you're really a nerd, watch some tape and then focus on those fights. Because if you don't do that and you're betting on all these fights, statistically speaking, you're going to lose one of those fights. And then if you lose one of those fights, you'll find yourself chasing, and then your mind's all in this weird place. But if you have a plan of attack and if you have structure going into this week with all these damn fights, you'll know that Wednesday there's 30 fights, but I only need 2 to win. I'm only betting on 2 of these crazy 30 fights, and then I need 3 to win this weekend. So that's kind of what I do. I cover all the fights because of you boys, and it's our community. But in terms of betting, you don't have to bet on every single damn fight. No way, Velazquez is way better than those odds. Way better. That's worth a sprinkle. Lloyd, what dog do you like? And Callum Simpson. Yeah, shout out to Hand History Vault. So Hand History Vault. So yeah, John, that's spell check. But History Vault's right. So I was told. So my prop of the week is probably going to be the $1.85 Simpson by knockout. This is a prop in terms of value. And no shade on Troy. Troy's what, 36 now? Troy, I remember watching Troy versus Joshua Kelly live. I think that was the fight when fighters look back in their careers, they look at like bullet points or curves in the road of where your career went, career trajectory, either here, here, or here. That was his fight. That was his chance. That was his opportunity to kind of like gauge where his career is going to go. And Josh handled him just soundly on every level. You got to see the skill set difference there between Kelly and Williamson. But I'm a fan of Williamson, man. He's a pro. He's a legit pro. Been in the game for a while now. Fan friendly. I think Callum Simpson is legit as hell. I think Callum stops him. $1.85. I'm almost getting plus money there. So that's probably going to be my prop of the week. I'm like 95% sure Callum Simpson by knockout will be my prop of the week. And when I commit to that, I'll share it in our Discord. I like Donaire to upset, mate. It could happen. I'm breaking that fight down. Stay tuned to the channel. You'll get my stats on live video shortly. You guys are wild.